Welcome to our discussion today, focusing on the fascinating and rapid development of infants from 2 days to 1 year. We'll be delving into the critical health promotion aspects outlined in the Perspectives of Pediatric Nursing, Chapter 3, with particular emphasis on expected growth and developmental milestones. I'm joined by Alex, who will help us unpack this vital information.
It's a pleasure to be here. Infant development is truly remarkable, and understanding these early stages is fundamental for promoting healthy outcomes. We'll be looking at everything from physical measurements to cognitive and social growth and crucial safety measures.
Let's start with those initial general measurements. The source details head circumference, crown to rump length, overall length, and weight for a full-term newborn. It notes that newborns typically lose up to 10% of their birth weight in the first few days. Is that something parents should be concerned about, or is it a normal physiological process?
That initial weight loss is entirely normal and expected. It's attributed to fluid shifts, the loss of meconium, and sometimes limited intake, especially for breastfed infants initially. What's important is that the birth weight is usually regained by 10 to 14 days of life. Consistent weight gain after that point is what health providers look for.
And speaking of physical development, the fontanelles, those soft spots on an infant's head, are often a source of curiosity or even anxiety for new parents. The posterior fontanelle closes by 2 months, but the anterior fontanelle remains open much longer, closing between 12 to 18 months. What's the significance of that difference in closure times?
The fontanelles are crucial for accommodating the rapid brain growth that occurs in infancy. The posterior one, being smaller, closes earlier. The anterior one, which is larger, stays open longer to allow for that significant expansion of the brain during the first year and a half. Its closure at 12 to 18 months aligns with a major period of brain development.
That makes sense. The source includes a case where a nurse assesses a 12-month-old. She observes a closed anterior fontanelle, 6 erupted teeth, the birth weight having doubled, and the birth length increased by 50%. Which of these findings, if any, would require reporting to the provider? It feels like they all sound normal, but one isn't.
This is a great example of applying these growth milestones. A closed anterior fontanelle at 12 months is not a finding to report because it normally closes by 18 months. 6 teeth are also normal. Infants usually have 6 to 8 teeth by 12 months. And birth length increasing by 50% is expected by 12 months. The finding to report is the birth weight having only doubled. By 12 months, an infant's birth weight should have tripled, not just doubled. That would indicate a potential growth concern.
That's a critical distinction. So tripling the birth weight is the key milestone there. Let's move to dentition. The text mentions the first teeth typically erupt between 6 to 10 months, averaging around 8 months. Some infants barely notice, while others experience irritability, difficulty sleeping, or even mild fevers. What are the best ways to manage teething pain for parents?
The recommendations are quite clear. Frozen teething rings or an ice cube wrapped in a washcloth can provide relief. Over-the-counter teething gels are an option, but should be used under a healthcare provider's direction. For significant discomfort that disrupts sleep or feeding, acetaminophen or ibuprofen are appropriate. But ibuprofen should only be given to infants over 6 months, and neither should be used for more than 3 days without medical consultation.
And dental hygiene begins early, even before all teeth erupt. The source suggests cleaning infants' teeth with cool, wet washcloths. It also advises against giving bottles to infants falling asleep, citing early childhood dental caries. Is it truly that big of a risk to let a baby fall asleep with a bottle?
It is a significant risk. Prolonged exposure to milk or juice while sleeping allows sugars to pool around the teeth, leading to cavities, even in very young children. Cleaning with a wet washcloth is a simple but effective way to remove bacteria and sugar residue, establishing good oral hygiene early on.
Let's turn to developmental milestones. The text breaks them down by age, covering motor, cognitive, language, and social skills. For example, at 2 months, we see head lag and a strong grasp reflex. By 9 months, an infant can sit unsupported and use a crude pincer grasp. What's the biggest leap in motor skill development during that first year that parents often marvel at?
I'd say the transition from demonstrating head lag at 1 month to holding their head unsupported by 4 months and then ultimately getting into a sitting position independently by 9 months is truly astounding. It's a foundational progression that unlocks so much more interaction with their environment. The fine motor skills also progress from simply grasping with both hands to developing a crude pincer grasp, which is essential for self-feeding. We should also note that by 7 months, they can transfer objects between hands, and by 10 months, they can bang 2 objects together.
And cognitively, Piaget's sensory motor stage, from birth to 24 months, is key. The text highlights 3 important tasks: separation, object permanence, and mental representation. Object permanence, the idea that something still exists even when you can't see it, develops around 9 to 10 months. Why is that such a critical cognitive leap for an infant?
Object permanence is monumental because it signifies a major step away from purely sensory motor interaction. Before this, out of sight, out of mind was literal. Once an infant understands an object still exists, it allows for more complex thought, memory, and even the development of separation anxiety because they now know their caregiver still exists even when they're not present. It's a building block for abstract thinking.
That links directly into social and emotional development. Erikson's stage of trust versus mistrust is central to the first year, emphasizing the quality of the caregiver-infant relationship. It seems to imply that if a baby's needs are always met before they even vocalize them, that could actually hinder development of delayed gratification. Is there a balance that parents should strike here?
That's a very nuanced point. The text states mistrust can develop if needs are consistently met before being vocalized. The goal isn't to make an infant suffer, but to allow for a brief period where they can express a need and then experience it being met. This teaches them that their cries are effective and that their caregiver is reliable, building trust. If every need is anticipated and met instantly, they don't learn that sequence of signaling and response, which is crucial for emotional regulation later.
It sounds like a delicate balance. Social development also includes attachment, separation anxiety from 4 to 8 months, and stranger fear between 6 and 8 months. What's the best advice for parents navigating the onset of separation anxiety and stranger fear, which can be quite challenging for both the child and the parent?
Recognizing that these are normal developmental stages is the first step. For separation anxiety, practicing short separations and consistent goodbyes can help. For stranger fear, allowing the infant to warm up to new people at their own pace, perhaps from a parent's arms, rather than forcing interaction, can reduce distress. Reassurance and consistency are key to helping them feel secure through these periods. We also note that attachment development is enhanced by positive feeding experience.
Let's move into health promotion, starting with immunizations. The CDC has clear recommendations for infants. At birth, it's hepatitis B, then at 2 months, a flurry of vaccines. By 6 months, it's quite a comprehensive schedule. How important is it to stick to the schedule? And what are the main vaccines parents should be aware of in the first 6 months?
Adhering to the schedule is critically important for protecting infants from serious diseases when they are most vulnerable. Beyond the birth dose of hepatitis B, the 2-month and 4-month visits typically include DTaP, rotavirus, inactivated poliovirus, Haemophilus influenzae type B, and pneumococcal vaccine. The 6-month visit adds another round of several of these, plus the seasonal influenza vaccination between 6 and 12 months. These vaccines work together to build a strong immune foundation.
That's a lot for little bodies, but so essential. Now, nutrition is another huge area. The CDC, WHO, and AAP all recommend exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months. If not breastfed, iron-fortified formula is the alternative, and cow's milk is not recommended before 12 months. What's the primary concern with introducing cow's milk too early?
Cow's milk is difficult for an infant's digestive system to process, and it doesn't provide the optimal balance of nutrients, particularly iron. It can lead to gastrointestinal bleeding, iron deficiency anemia, and kidney issues due to its high protein and mineral content. Breast milk or formula is specifically designed to meet an infant's nutritional needs during that crucial first year. Also, we should remember that vitamin D supplements are recommended within the first few days of life if the infant is consuming less than 28 ounces of formula or breast milk per day.
And when it comes to introducing solids around 6 months, what are the indicators of readiness, and is there a specific order for introducing foods? I've heard different advice over the years.
Key indicators of readiness include showing interest in foods, having voluntary head and trunk control, and the disappearance of the extrusion reflex, where they automatically push food out with their tongue. Historically, iron-fortified cereal was always first, but the source now clarifies that solid food choices may be introduced in any order. The crucial part is introducing one new single-ingredient food every 3 to 5 days to monitor for allergies or intolerances. Breast milk or formula should still be the primary source of nutrition, even as solids increase.
That's a helpful update for many parents. Finally, let's talk about injury prevention, which is paramount in infancy. The text covers a wide range: aspiration, bodily harm, burns, drowning, falls, poisoning, motor vehicle injuries, and suffocation. Looking at the provided scenarios, like an infant on the floor with a dog and no adult present, or uncovered electrical outlets, what's the overarching principle parents should always keep in mind to prevent injury?
The overarching principle is constant, vigilant supervision and anticipating potential hazards. Infants are incredibly curious and develop new skills rapidly. What wasn't a hazard yesterday might be one today. Things like covering electrical outlets, securing furniture, keeping small objects out of reach, ensuring car seat safety, remembering rear-facing until age 2 or manufacturer height limit, and that car seats must be rear-facing in the back seat, and always placing infants on their backs to sleep are non-negotiable. The home environment needs to be child-proofed from an infant's perspective, not an adult's.
That's excellent advice. Anticipation and constant vigilance seem to be the golden rules. Thank you, Alex, for walking us through the essential aspects of infant health promotion from perspectives of pediatric nursing. It's clear how much growth and development occurs in that first year and how vital proper care and observation are.
My pleasure. It's a comprehensive guide for supporting infants through their foundational year.
If you found this conversation insightful, share it with someone who might also benefit from understanding infant health and development.